Welcome to Mind Mastery Meditation and Mindfulness for high school students. In this final module, we will bring together everything you have learned throughout the course and focus on one very important idea: how to continue using mindfulness in real life long after this course is over. This module is not just about finishing lessons. It is about helping you build a practice that can support you in school, in relationships, during stress, and in everyday life. As we move through these slides, think of this as the beginning of your next step, not the end of your learning. Congratulations on reaching the final module. That is an important achievement. Over the past 7 modules, you have developed many core mindfulness skills. You have learned how to train your attention, which means learning how to notice where your mind is and gently bring it back. You have explored the wandering mind and understood that distraction is a normal part of being human. You have practiced using the breath to calm the body, and you have learned to listen to signals from your body with more awareness. You also learned how to observe thoughts without being controlled by them. That is a powerful skill because it helps you create space between what you think and how you respond. You have worked with emotions, learning that they can be noticed, understood, and regulated. And finally, you have developed qualities such as self-compassion, gratitude, and kindness, which are essential for a healthy inner life. Now we arrive at the most important question of all: how do you make mindfulness a lifelong habit? Learning mindfulness in a course is one thing. Keeping it alive in daily life is something deeper. This final module is designed to help you do exactly that. We will focus on building a personal practice that is realistic, sustainable, and suited to your own life. In the next slide, we will look at the specific goals of this module so you know exactly what you will gain from it. This slide explains the goal of the module. By the end of this module, you will understand how habits are formed. This matters because mindfulness becomes truly useful when it moves from being something you try once in a while to something that becomes part of your routine. You will also learn how to build a consistent meditation routine. Notice the word consistent. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep returning. You will also discover how to overcome common obstacles. Almost everyone faces challenges such as forgetting to practice, feeling too busy, getting bored, or thinking they are not doing it correctly. These obstacles are normal, and learning how to respond to them is part of the journey. Another goal is to help you design a personalized mindfulness plan. This is important because there is no single method that works for everyone. Some students prefer short breathing practices. Others connect more with walking mindfulness, body awareness, or mindful pauses during the day. Your practice should fit your real life. Finally, you will learn how mindfulness supports lifelong learning, relationships, health, and happiness. In other words, this module is about showing you that mindfulness is not limited to meditation sessions. It can become a skill that strengthens many parts of your life. Next, we will look at the structure of the module so you can see how each lesson helps build toward that goal. This slide gives you an overview of the full module. It is helpful to see the journey ahead. The first lesson, "The Journey Begins Now," introduces the idea that finishing the course is actually the start of your independent practice. Then, in Building Habits That Last, you will learn how habits form and how to make mindfulness easier to continue. After that, Designing Your Personal Practice will help you create a routine that matches your schedule, personality, and needs. This leads naturally into Overcoming Common Challenges, where you will learn how to work with the difficulties that often interrupt practice. In the middle of the module, you will experience a guided open awareness meditation. This will expand your understanding of meditation by helping you notice whatever is present in the moment, rather than focusing only on one object like the breath. Then, in Mindfulness Beyond Meditation, you will explore how awareness can be brought into normal daily activities. The final lessons become more personal and reflective. In your personal mindfulness plan, you will put your ideas into a practical structure. In Course Reflection and Graduation Challenge, you will look back on your progress and prepare for what comes next. And finally, in Final Assessment and Course Completion, you will complete the module and confirm your understanding. Altogether, this module is about 90 minutes long. That is a short amount of time compared to the lifelong value of the skills you are developing. Now that you have seen the path of the module, let us look more closely at the learning outcomes, beginning with what you will understand at the knowledge level. This slide focuses on the knowledge you will gain. First, you will understand how habits are created. This is important because mindfulness is not only about understanding ideas. It is about repeating actions often enough that they become easier and more natural over time. When you understand habit formation, you can set up your environment and routine in a way that supports your practice. You will also learn why consistency matters more than duration. Many students think a good meditation practice must be long. But in reality, a short practice done regularly is usually more powerful than a long practice done rarely. Even a few mindful minutes each day can strengthen attention and awareness when practiced consistently. Another key area of knowledge is understanding the common obstacles to maintaining mindfulness. This includes things like lack of time, low motivation, self-criticism, forgetfulness, or unrealistic expectations. When you can name these obstacles clearly, they become easier to work with. Finally, you will understand how mindfulness can be integrated into daily life. This means that mindfulness does not have to stay separate from your normal routine. It can be present while studying, walking, eating, listening, or managing stress. This knowledge creates the foundation for the next part of the module, which is not only understanding these ideas, but also learning how to apply them as practical skills. Now we move from knowledge to skills. It is one thing to know what mindfulness is, but another thing to actually use it in daily life. One skill you will develop is the ability to build a realistic meditation routine. The word realistic is very important. A routine that looks impressive but does not fit your actual schedule will usually not last. A simple routine that you can truly maintain is much more effective. You will also learn to adapt mindfulness practices to different situations. For example, sometimes you may have time for a seated meditation, and other times you may need a 1-minute breathing pause before a test or a mindful walk after a difficult conversation. Flexibility is a sign of real understanding. Another important skill is learning how to recover after missing practice. This may sound simple, but it is actually a major part of long-term success. Many people stop practicing not because they miss one day, but because after missing one day, they become discouraged and stop returning. You will learn how to begin again without judging yourself. Finally, you will learn how to continue growing independently. Since this is the final module, this skill matters greatly. The goal is for you to leave the course with enough confidence and understanding to keep practicing on your own. In the next slide, we will look at the mindset that supports all of these skills, because the way you think about practice strongly affects whether it lasts. This final slide presents the mindset of lifelong mindfulness. First, you will understand that meditation is a lifelong practice. That means there is no final point where you become completely finished or perfect at it. Mindfulness continues to deepen over time, and every stage of life can teach you something new. Second, you will learn that progress is not linear. Some days your mind may feel calm and focused. Other days it may feel restless, distracted, or emotional. This does not mean you are failing. It simply means you are human. Growth in mindfulness often happens unevenly, and that is normal. The next idea is that every practice session matters. Even short, imperfect, or difficult sessions are valuable. In fact, some of the most meaningful learning happens when practice feels challenging, because that is when you are learning patience, honesty, and persistence. Finally, this slide reminds you that beginning again is always possible. This may be one of the most important lessons of the whole course. You may lose your routine, you may forget, you may stop for days, weeks, or even longer, but mindfulness always allows a new beginning. The next breath, the next moment, the next choice can become your return. This mindset connects everything from the previous slides. You now know the purpose of the module, the lessons ahead, the knowledge you will gain, and the skills you will practice. From here, the rest of the module will help you turn these ideas into a personal path you can carry with you for life.